Please put up your hand. Who here has ever had sex with someone without being married to them? Okay, very interesting. Lots of hands going up and then down very quickly again. Yes.
Rape is worse than other forms of violent assault.
And I've actually, read about how certain rape victims have actually said it would have been better if you'd killed me after doing this because they have to live with the stigma. I'm not saying all rape victims feel that this way, but it is a violent assault, not only physically but mentally, and it assaults the family. Unfortunately, it assaults the family of the victim as well. And the repercussions of that are much worse than just being dead. Absolutely.
Both rape and the selection of male children are both the manifestation of the fact that we are a sexually repressed society. That's what makes women think that if I lose my virginity, I've lost my life. Rubbish. If I lose my hand, I've lost my livelihood. Nobody looks at it as seriously. Why not? If I am the only daughter of my parents and I'm expected to look after them in their old age, I need to have my hands to look after them. I don't need my virginity. I wouldn't say...
In India, a lot of introspection about why there is such prevalent gender crime. In your own work, even when you were looking at other aspects of women's life in Pakistan, what allows this kind of endemic sense that women are men's properties, that you can do what you want on their body? Does that have a religious underpinning? Is it really a lack of education, or does it cut across social strata?
I think it cuts across social strata, to be honest, and I think it has to do more with the fact that in our societies we don't punish enough men who basically perpetrate domestic violence or rape or acid violence in our societies. We tend to look the other way. So if you look at villages or towns where you know of two men who have done something to a woman and not been sent to jail, it emboldens other men that this is not a crime. That XYZ's done it, didn't go to jail, nothing really happened to that person. We have to change that mindset. You make enough examples of people and it'll become a deterrent. But when you don't make examples of people, it emboldens society to do this. And especially in our societies where sometimes our own families pressure us not to go out and report something because it brings dishonor to our own society. So you often find some rape victims won't even go and register the cases because A, they think the system is so ineffective, and B, our systems are made to make the woman feel somehow it was her fault that she got raped, or somehow it was her fault that she got beaten up. Like, it must have been something you did versus something he did. And that mindset has to change.
I agree with you in part, but I disagree as well. I do believe that because I'm a woman, biologically, forceful penetration of a man into me is the most brutalest form of violence that I can possibly, my body and my being, can possibly experience as a woman. So while I agree with the part that being a virgin is not important, rape, I feel, is assaulting my being born as a woman, because being born as a woman, I do come with a vagina and I do come with a certain physical weakness.
It's not an attack on the gender, it is an attack on the respect or the dignity that the person holds for himself.
It's just a small point regarding the fact that men could also be sexually assaulted. But if I think from a man's point of view, if I was sexually assaulted and I was a man, I would think that the very fact that the Indian Constitution defines rape only when a man assaults a woman. So if I was a man and I was sexually assaulted, I wouldn't even be able to file a case, because that was the fact that even when you have sexual assault and you have rape, it's only penetration, it's nothing else. So that's something that confuses me on that matter.
Good, thank you. Who else?
में खड़ा करते कि बॉलीवुड का स्विच ऑफ कर देंगे तो समाज बदल जाएगा. People, there are cases of rapes happening with, a girl of 6-month child. Can Bollywood ever show that? Where are those people coming from? It means there is something wrong with the society. what is happening inside closed doors in the homes. Nobody is talking about that. So many women who have voiced and said that the worst crimes are happening inside closed doors. उसके बारे में कोई बात नहीं करता है. तो बॉलीवुड तो एक आपके सामने है, उस पर आप बार बार पत्थर फेंक सकते हैं और बॉलीवुड उसके लिए तैयार भी है और इंट्रोस्पेक्ट करने को तैयार है. इसलिए मैं बैठा हूं आपके सामने बात कर रहा हूं. लेकिन कई ऐसी चीजें हैं जिसके बारे में तो आप सवाल उठा ही नहीं रहे. वो दरवाजों के बंद पर्दों के पीछे जो हो रहा है उसके बारे में तो सवाल उठा ही नहीं रहे. वो तो एक मानसिकता है, वो रुग्ण मानसिकता जो समाज की है, उसको कैसे बदलेंगे हम?
Second thing I feel, I don't believe that rape and other forms of violent attack, I don't feel that rape is more heinous. Sometimes I believe that if a woman is subjected to physical assault over and over again, like in her marriage or even at a workplace, if a boss doesn't rape you when he knows you're a woman and so he can get away with a lot of sexual talk or whatever, I feel over time it can impact a woman and be a sort of a mental rape, if you may. So I feel that in terms of, I would put rape on par with a very, very brutal, violent attack against your very being, even beyond the physical, you know, and only a woman can experience that. Unfortunately, you can't penetrate a man.
Rape and other forms of violent assault should be put on a par.
I think rather than just merely putting them at par, I think what is more important is to probably change the attitude. It's a more gradual thing. It's not a black and white thing that you just put it at par and the constitution says, okay, rape is as heinous a crime as any other form of violence. I don't think that would do it.
Do you think that rape should be punished more severely than other forms of violent physical assault?
Again, depends on the case. I don't think you can have a very general. Probably, if a man rapes a woman and physically really assaults her, probably what happened on the 16th of December in Delhi, I think that should be severely punished. That really should be severely punished. But when you're saying rape and again, you're narrowing it down only to penetration. I think it is beyond that.
It's more so heinous in all crimes. Yeah.
Everyone's been talking about essence of women and piousness, and the thing is, when someone looks at me and says that you are a woman and let me protect you, you are special, as a woman, I don't need that. Why? When you give me the idea of caring, you're making me a child. I'm not a child. I don't need to be taken care of. So, give me my respect, and I feel very strongly about what does a woman mean, and I'm not being very articulate, but...
You are. I disagree with you on that.
I don't need the care or the protection. The protection, it's demeaning to me, because I don't need this kind of protection. I can protect myself.
It is not a television opportunity, it is not a television story. It has touched lives so deeply. It has pained so many people. And like our president said so eloquently, it was brutality against humanity, not against just one woman. It's no longer about just one rape. It's about brutality in our society, and it has to be addressed in a manner that is befitting and with the seriousness that it deserves. And for that to happen, mindsets have to change.
With the fact that you say that being a woman and having a hymen is like having a weakness. No, I wouldn't let any part of my body, any one part of my body define me so completely. I agree with you when you say that rape is a heinous crime, but then so are a lot of others. And I think what you're looking at is a very narrow definition of rape. I mean, is oral sex okay? And if that's how somebody rapes you, is that okay? No, I don't think that's okay either. I'm not saying that rape is okay in any form. All I'm saying is that it's as bad as any other intent to harm an individual. I wouldn't put it on a pedestal, that's it.
That the fact that we give rape a special status gives us, shows that the society is more mature. I think we're an extremely sexually repressed society if we give rape a special status.
The special status comes only if you give it to. If you compare the penetration of your vagina to the cutting off of your limbs, they're both equally painful. But obviously, like as she said, my arms are required. I need my arms. I could live with the other kind of violent crime. I think it just shows that we're a society which is giving sex far more importance than it does, and it's demeaning to make that caring for us.
First of all, I think rape as well as other forms of very violent assault are about humiliation and violation of bodily integrity. So in that sense, I put them at par. The other thing is that we've been using murder as an example of the extreme form of other forms of violent assault. I don't personally know a rape victim, but I do know someone, a girl on whom acid was thrown on her face. She suffered 97% burns, and the girl I know passed away, but there are people who survive and have to live with that every day and every second of the rest of their lives. I completely agree that, I guess the question that we're talking about is we're not taking into account the way society treats rape. I hope that all of us agree that that attitude of stigma needs to be changed. Going from there, I think that rape is something that we can try to mentally move forward from and try to heal the mental harm that would cause. But something that has, that takes, that burns 90% of your body, or that takes away something like that and that you have to live with, affects every decision for the rest of your life.
Yes.
It affects what you can do, it affects relationships that you have, it affects everything. And it's something that you can't move forward from. And that is something that is much more a violation of bodily integrity and humiliates me whether a man or a woman does it.
One thing that I would really like to point out is that we are taking sexual violence only in terms of women. Why don't we consider even men being a victim of it? Because in sectarian violence, it's not just women who are suffering, and they're not the only tools of oppression or whatever. Kids, men who are handicapped, who get amputated because of this violent attack.
And women started celebrating their sensuality, which is fine, which is wonderful. But there is a difference between a celebration of a woman's sensuality and a commodification of a body. And I think in many of the article numbers today, it's the commodification, because the business of cinema is the business of images. When you have fragmented images of a woman's body, of a heaving bosom, of a swiveling navel, of a swinging hip, fragmented images, you rob the woman of all autonomy and make her surrender to the male gaze. That is the informed choice.
It is totally horrible, because special is generally a word we use for something positive. And it is a horrible, to my mind, rape is the most heinous of all crimes.
The most heinous of all crimes.
The thing that I would like to point out is that if in an island, a man rapes the women, and there's no one else present, just that man and that woman, the effect of it and the aftermath will, I think, probably last 15 or 20 days. That's it. The reason that rape becomes so traumatic is because people are around. It's because people don't let them get over it. That changes the definition of rape also. Because is rape just simply sexual violence or like sexual, encroachment, or is it mainly a social encroachment of the woman's vagina?
But some thought has to be given to the fact of how long-lasting the effect of any violence or any trauma can be. Nobody gets over rape in 20 days. That's not going to happen. And the fact of violation is not a social fact. It's not socially, sort of imposed upon you that you've been violated. You know when you're violated, even if you have no connection with society. So violation is a violation. And I think that we have to remember that when we're talking about rape, we're not just talking about virginity. Women of all ages get raped, men get raped, boys get raped. So it is definitely a question of I agree with people who said it's a question of dignity, it's invasion of a person's self, and it is a demeaning act. It is an act of which is rape is not necessarily about sex, it's about power, and it is demeaning. And the trauma of rape is something which makes it a heinous crime because it is a lifelong trauma. If you have ever spoken to a rape victim, it's not just society, but it is the absolute violent sort of violation of that person's being, which is what stays with them, and they will lose their confidence. They are going to remember it for the rest of their lives. It may become less acute, the trauma, but it's something which will destroy them for life, and that is the purpose of the rape.
So, definitely there should be punishment for verbal abuse, assault and any sort of verbal attack on a woman. Because again it comes to her point of leveling the playing field. Unless you put a punishment and tell the society that this is wrong, it won't stop.
When it comes to verbal assault, the line is a grey line. There's no clear-cut distinction as what is offence and what can lead to harm. So, on one hand, liberals say that when Arundhati Roy is arrested for what she's saying about Kashmir, she doesn't deserve to go to jail. But what Honey Singh is saying defames women and he deserves to go to jail. There's a double standard. So, to protect the liberal state, we need to allow freedom of speech. However, as a woman, I have experienced verbal assault and I know how degrading and demeaning that can be. But that cannot be dealt with punishment. That is a more deep-rooted social issue that has to be dealt with in a larger social and educational context.
The little homework that I've done, there are these mere photo chipkale sayyam Fevicol things. And I've also heard, I can't say the word in Hindi, but it's about, I'm a tandoori chicken, come and bite me, or some such. How do you look at this? I mean, is this poetry? Is this what you feel? Is this something that producers ask you to do, or is it that poets sort of churn it out because there's enough money and value, or is it being done without any thought whatsoever?
No, first of all, I think when we talk about the first time you said, very close, no problem. When you laugh, there's no problem. The problem is, if it's a joke, there could be a joke out there which we should not lose the sense of humor, first of all. Second thing is that people will come to you and say, I've never been asked, I don't think anybody expects me to write something like that. But problem starts when we can't draw a line between what is entertainment and what is crossing the line. Now, a lot of our...
Sorry, just to clarify, when you say we cannot draw a line, is that the producer, the director, the lyricist,
and the society. You go to a marriage function and you find children dancing to all these songs, and the mothers are doing this.
I have been sexually harassed almost twice every week or something, like really badly, when I walk down the street. I don't think that's cool. I should be able to go to a police station, tell those person that, look, there's this man who's abusing me or who's sexually harassing me, and I want that man to get punished. That's simple as that.
Most people, most Indians don't know that eve teasing actually falls under the Preventive Detention Act, and where has that led us? No one cares about that act anymore.
It's going to take a long time. If a woman's been a victim of domestic violence, she just thinks it's the rite of passage many of the times. That has to change. Awareness, I think, is very, very important. How often do we go and tell women about their rights? Laws exist in constitutions and they're enshrined, but if nobody knows about them, nobody's aware of what they can do and how much the system can protect them or help them, there's no good having laws that can't be implemented.
Please put up your hand. Who here has ever had sex with someone without being married to them? Okay, very interesting. Lots of hands going up and then down very quickly again. Yes.
Rape. is worse than other forms of violent assault.
And I've actually, read about how certain rape victims have actually said it would have been better if you'd killed me after doing this, because they have to live with the stigma. I'm not saying all rape victims feel that this way, but it is a violent assault, not only physically but mentally, and it assaults the family. Unfortunately, it assaults the family of the victim as well. And the repercussions of that are much worse than just being dead. Absolutely.
Both rape and the selection of male children are both the manifestation of the fact that we are a sexually repressed society. That's what makes women think that if I lose my virginity, I've lost my life. Rubbish. If I lose my hand, I've lost my livelihood. Nobody looks at it as seriously. Why not? If I am the only daughter of my parents and I'm expected to look after them in their old age, I need to have my hands to look after them. I don't need my virginity. I wouldn't say...
In India, a lot of introspection about why there is such prevalent gender crime. In your